On public announcements, I have one. I had some feedback from a friend, a horse friend. And they said that they had a wonderful event out at our rodeo arena. They had 90 contestants, and they said that their relationship with the town was exemplary. So I'd like to compliment town staff for having that customer evaluation, and that's really a good thing. We're trying to put a lot more events into the rodeo arena, so that is really good news to hear. Other public announcements? Does council have any? Okay, well, call to the public.
I have no requests.
Okay, well, we're going to finish early tonight. Town manager report.
I don't want to break the streak, so I have no reports tonight.
Well done. Meeting adjourned. Well done. We have a proclamation tonight, the Greatest American Cleanup Proclamation in support of the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence is with us tonight. We have a proclamation to present, and Bo Larson is going to handle this for us.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I think I'm on here. Keep America Beautiful is a national nonprofit organization established in 1953 with the sole purpose of inspiring and educating people to take action to improve the beauty of their community environment. The organization is driven by the work and passion of millions of individual volunteers and nearly 700 Keep America Beautiful community affiliates. Cave Creek is one of the most beautiful communities in Arizona, and we are blessed with resident volunteers who give up their time to help ensure the town stays clean and trash-free. With the help and support of community volunteers Thomas Secor and Bobby Herbeck, the town of Cave Creek is honored to declare support, at no cost, I might add, for the Greatest American Cleanup Campaign. This campaign by Keep America Beautiful seeks 25,000 communities across the USA to commit to being clean, green, and beautiful for America's 250th birthday celebration on July 4th, 2026, which is also the town's 40th anniversary of incorporation, not July 4th, but 2026. To share more information about this program is Thomas Secor.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council, Bo, thanks for that introduction. I have a quick, about 30-minute video. Just kidding, it's about 1 minute. I don't know, Teresa, do you have that queued up or so?
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains, majesty above the fruited plains. America, America, God shed his grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
So it seems like a perfect fit for our awesome community that, as Bo said, is beautiful. The Sonoran Desert, we all love it, appreciate it. And the one common theme that I found while doing some volunteer work with Bobby Herbeck and neighbors is everyone wants the streets clean. So we're excited to work with multiple different folks. We'll spearhead this thing. We'll have like Earth Day. I think we'll pick a day during rodeo week. We'll work with the town to partner with different sort of initiatives, beautification initiatives that will coincide with what we need to do with the proclamation. So with that, I say thank you for stepping up and signing the proclamation, and I look forward to getting to work. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. You want to read? What do you want to read this first, Bo, or you? Okay, this is the proclamation. Whereas the people of the town of Cave Creek are dedicated to enhancing the beauty and cleanliness of our community, and whereas we recognize the importance of preserving our environment and fostering civic pride among our citizens, and whereas we acknowledge the transformative power of clean and green spaces to support and promote well-being of all people, and whereas America's 250th anniversary on July 4th, 2026, presents a historic opportunity for us to showcase our commitment to sustainability and community beautification. We, the town of Cave Creek, do hereby proclaim our support for and participation in the Declaration of Action for the Greatest American Cleanup. As such, we commit to do the following. Organize 3 new community cleanups to inspire our citizens of all ages to work together to remove litter from our streets, parks, waterways, and public spaces. Host 2 reduce, reuse, recycle, or beautification events in 2025 and in 2026, enhancing our community's appeal through reduced waste, public art, planting trees, flowers, and creating, improving, or maintaining green spaces. Hold 1 event to celebrate our progress and achievements, to help America look her best for her 250th anniversary celebration. By declaring our support for the Greatest American Cleanup with Keep America Beautiful, we intend to make the town of Cave Creek a shining example of environmental stewardship and community engagement as we work together to make our community cleaner, greener, and more beautiful for generations to come. In witness thereof, I have set hereto my hand and caused the seal of the Great of Cave Creek, Arizona to be affixed this 6th day of January, 2025. That is our proclamation, so go. My signature on it.
Took me a while to learn that, yeah. One more, please. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, thanks.
Next on the council meeting is the consent agenda, and that is number 1 is the approval of the town's unmarked vehicles for 2025. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda? So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it 7-0. Motion is approved. So we have unmarked vehicles for those who are speeding.
So much for government transparency.
Yeah. Next on the agenda is a council discussion and appointment of 2 citizens to fill the vacancies on the planning commission. We have already had 1 round of interviews in the executive session with each of the 5 candidates we have tonight for the planning commission. We'll be appointing 2 positions. The way the process will work is we'll ask each of the 5 who are here to step up to the podium and give a brief 3-minute rundown of why they want the position, their time in Cave Creek, what their vision is for the town, and what they plan to do on the planning commission. At that point, after they've done that, and council may have a few questions here, although we have already asked them a number of questions, then we'll have a process of nomination. And it's always been clumsy in the past, so we have a process we use here where each council member has the 5 names.
6.
The 6 names, excuse me. It has the 6 names, and each of us will nominate 2 people. And whichever candidate has the highest number, I will make a motion to have them appointed and voted on to the planning commission. We will read what each council person, who their 2 are. So there's nothing, everything we do will be public. So you will know which 2 people each of the council people chose to nominate first, the first round. If there is a tie, for example, if we have three people tied with the same number of votes, we'll go in alphabetical order. I will make a motion to nominate them to the commission. We'll have a vote. If the person gets 4 votes, they're on the commission. Because it will always take 4 votes to put somebody on the planning commission, which is a really important part of our town government. Have I explained that, town manager?
You have, Mayor, and just for the sake of the public, I'm not sure that they heard that there's 2 seats that are available for the planning commission. So that's what the council is going to be deciding tonight.
Okay. So with that, we'd ask, I'll call the names out, and if those candidates would come forward and the first candidate would come forward and talk. First of all, I'd like to open this to the commission, to the council, to ask if there's anything that they would like to say or questions they would like the candidates to cover. Cynthia, I'll recognize you first.
Thank you, Mayor Morris. I'd just like to share a general statement that the Planning Commission plays an essential role for the town in its development, review, and consideration of planning functions. The commission can act with initiative and with forethought on the general plan and a review of the ordinances. The complexity of the commission's roles is not always recognized by the public. We tend to focus on recent history, not always past history, and it can be complicated. The town is best served by planning commission members who demonstrate understanding of breadth and depth of our planning ordinances and who also understand the complexity of the development history of the town. These are the factors that I consider in looking for planning commission members. In reviewing the applications, I think there's a number of very qualified candidates who bring unique skill sets to our consideration for the commission. I myself was considered once in 2021 and passed over. I didn't take it personally. I kept coming back to more council meetings and commission meetings and then was appointed the subsequent year. So I think a lot of the process is understanding what we can do, what we can contribute to the process of the Planning Commission. Thank you, Mayor.
And I would say of these 6, 2 will be appointed. For the other 4, I encourage you to be involved in voluntary work for the town, either with the town government or other places in the town. But we certainly appreciate and hope that you will continue that service or pick up that service.
I'd just like to say, in the audience tonight, just fortuitously, almost all the volunteer organizations who receive donations from the town are in the audience tonight. So if you're looking for a spot to contribute, we have a very strong, pool of candidates. It really is. And I'm sure any of them would do a fine job. So it's going to be a really tough decision for council tonight. Kathleen Abay, are you here? Here you are. Okay.
Council members, so I want to say thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to be able to, can you hear me? No.
Is your mic on? Is there there's a red
There's
light?
green light, yeah. I
Okay.
don't know. Is this better?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So Mayor Morris, Vice Mayor Royer, council members, thank you. Good evening. I appreciate the opportunity that I had to apply for this spot. When we came to Arizona in '07, Cave Creek always drew my heart. I think it's a beautiful community. I love the character. We finally were able to fulfill the dream of living here. We've always been in the north part. We've been on the south side of Carefree Highway, which technically is Phoenix, but at a Cave Creek address. But I would like to see this town continue to maintain its unique character and quality. I know it's going to change as things move forward because everything does change and growth is, you can't get away from that. But it's what we do with that to make this town continue to be beautiful and give it the things that it offers to the public and to itself. I think the community itself, being that it's smaller, it's close-knit. I have an understanding of the history. We rented for a couple of years in '08 or '09 up here. I've always paid attention to what's gone on here in Cave Creek, so I do have that standing history. I'd like to see it go forward in a beautiful fashion, protecting the economy. Well, yeah, the economy is important, with the commercial stuff, but protecting the conservation. I like the open space. you're going to grow. I know you're going to grow commercially, residentially, and I want to play a role in that. I'm dedicated. I would accept this with honor, and it would be a pleasure to serve. I know it requires more time of me in my little busy world, but I am truly dedicated and devoted to want to give you that time. I have a wealth of information behind me from various industries, but always in an administrative and organizational capacity. I've been on an HOA board. We lived over in Desert Hills for a little while. At one point, a few years back, it's happened a number of times, I'm sure you all are aware of it, that they wanted to incorporate Desert Hills. I was on the committee to help that go forward. It never worked out, unfortunately. But here I am, and I'm hoping that I can serve in this fashion with Cave Creek and bring the general plan, the community, the town, the staff, the council, everybody together. I'm a team player, so that's what I have to say. And again, thank you so much for the opportunity.
Okay, I just want to, I'm going to ask council if they have any questions. We already talked to everybody, so we probably won't, but if there may be a few questions of clarification, questions from council. Okay, thank you, Mr. Bay.
Thank you.
Dave Ackerman.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council. My name is David Ackerman, and my fiance Christina and I live in Galloway Ridge. I just appreciate the opportunity. I want to get back into really being involved with the community. Previously in the community I lived in, I was not only a part of their planning commission, but I was on the city council for many years. Ultimately, I'd love to be sitting there in one of those seats one day, but I want to start somewhere. I'd love the opportunity to be on the planning commission, not only due to the planning commission and city council experience I have, but just with respect to my hybrid set of skill set, not only entrepreneurial, but I've been president of soccer clubs, youth and competitive, Lions, school boards, et cetera. So this is right up my alley. And Cave Creek is definitely a community I want to be in long term. Both Christina and I love this place. We definitely will call it home for the long term. And I'm a very active person. I get around the town a lot, whether it's biking, trail running, walking, hiking. So I love what's already in place, and I'd love to be a part of just future development, whether it's trails and or just economic development. So just thank you for your consideration, and would love to be a part of the team.
Any other clarification questions? Thank you, Mr. Ackerman.
Thank you, guys.
Jim Kastner.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. My name is Jim Kastner. My wife Laura and I live on Arroyo Road, just north of town a little bit. I've been a resident of Arizona for 37 years and Cave Creek for 5. And I saw this opportunity come up, and I thought I've spent a lot of time in this town, and I plan on retiring in this town. And I would like to see this town have progress within reason, and keep with the Cave Creek ways they are currently. We really appreciate this town, and we look forward to being here. So that's about all I have.
Okay.
Thank you for your time.
Any clarifying questions? Thank you, Mr. Kastner.
Thank you.
Steve Lamar.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Happy New Year first. I guess I should give you a little background. I think most of you know it, but I first was a member of the Planning Commission in 1986 when the town was first incorporated, and that commission helped write the general plan for Cave Creek, which has been the guiding lights all these years since. I've served on the Planning Commission for, I think, about at least 10, maybe more than that, terms. I've served on council for 3 terms. It was vice mayor for 1 term. I've had horses here for 30-some years now, and have worked steadily for expanding the trail system, for open space, and for the pledge we made in 1986 was to, looking forward decades, which is now decades, was to make Cave Creek different than Scottsdale and Phoenix, to make sure that we stayed low density, that we had open space, that we had a feeling of an eclectic Western character. And the amendments to the original town plan and general plan have seen that happen. And while we've had change, when I first moved here, there was no traffic signals between Bell Road on Cave Creek Road until you got to Carefree Highway. And there was a two-way stop because there wasn't enough traffic on Carefree Highway to justify a stop sign. I think I can say this because I have surfed so many years. I think one of the best things I ever did was move to Cave Creek in a small town where I could be actually a part of democracy, where I could actually have a vote, work hard. And I spent many, many hours when I was prosecuting prison gangs, the Attorney General's office, and, you know, listening to citizens argue about how they how they wanted the first general plan to look until recently. And I'm on the general, I'm on the commission now. And I won't say that it's always a happy experience, but I will say it's been a rewarding experience. And I dearly love this town, and I have put action where my mouth is for decades. As far as the specifics of being a commissioner, I think what I appreciated from the Planning Commission when I was on town council were the commissioners that didn't ever recommend approval of something that was inconsistent with either the law, our general plan, or our ordinances. I see one of the functions of the Planning Commission is to make sure that what we pass along, if approved by you, doesn't end up with a lawsuit that we're going to lose or end up being a problem for the council. I represented small towns, including Carefree and Scottsdale, and that's not so small anymore, all over the state when I was, in fact, worked with Bill for many years. And so I have a pretty good idea of what to avoid and what not to avoid, where the dangers are, where the pits are. And I think it's easier to be on the commission than it is on council because obviously you don't have to run for office and get elected. So I find it to be a pleasure to just think listen, be ready, be prepared, look at the issues, and do what's best for the town, period. And if all folks don't like it, then that's my job to make sure that I always keep the best interest of Cave Creek first and foremost, and support you all to make sure that we give you sound, logical, well thought out recommendations. And I think by and large, we have done that. So that's all I've got to say.
Okay, questions from council? Thank you, Mr. Lamar.
Again, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Alex Nattison.
Evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council. Thank you for the opportunity and the consideration. A little bit about my background. I recently have been involved in the Water Advisory Committee. I was the vice chair of the Water Advisory Committee for a couple of years. I was the board chair for the Holland Community Center up here, and you also have the executive director here tonight, coincidentally. I'm also serving a leadership position for the Arizona State Historic and Preservation Office, and then volunteered quite a bit outside of that. Prior to that, I was an infantry officer. I was a business owner. I was an entrepreneur. I sold my company. But in order to serve in those positions, you have to be prepared. You have to do your homework. You have to have a vision. You have to be a leader, but you have to be a team player. And I think all of those, I've demonstrated all those throughout my career, demonstrated those while I was serving for the town of Cave Creek previously. I also ran for council, wasn't elected, no hard feelings. Congrats to everybody who were. But we love Cave Creek, been living up here since '99. So we've seen a lot of change, a lot of growth. We support all our businesses. We hit all the trails. And I also feel in this position or this opportunity that it's not just serving the Planning and Zoning Commission, it's looking out for what's best for Cave Creek. I don't have a personal agenda. I'm not here to support my community or little development in that regard, but it's always about what's best for the town of Cave Creek. So you can always count on me being prepared for those meetings to provide the best advice that I can and to work as a team with a team. And second to that, the other thing I think I always bring to the table is I have a lot of ideas. I always have ideas. And I think there's opportunity in the town of Cave Creek. We have limited, commercial lots available and those types of things. So rather than being reactive, be proactive. How do we engage more proactively outside of our community to draw in the types of businesses that fit our lifestyle here in Cave Creek, right? That we feel will be of benefit to the citizens, of course, bring revenue to help grow our town and keep it strong, but also instead of, like I said, being reactive, being proactive. Who would we like? I know we don't have an economic development organization or department here, but I see that an opportunity in that. That's one idea. I have a lot of other ideas. I won't take your time with that, but if I am, I guess, voted and am part of the committee, I look forward to working with all of you and the citizens as well and the staff. Thank you.
Quit. Any questions? Thank you, Mr. Nattison. Next, we have Tom Secor.
Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council. I appreciate the opportunity to throw my hat in the ring for the commission. I've lived in Cave Creek now for about 2.5 years. We live in Rancho Manana. I serve on the board of the HOA there. And I've retired to Cave Creek. As an entrepreneur, built a business that started with 1, ended with 100, and sold to a Fortune 500, which afforded me the opportunity to move here, retire here, and live here for the next 25 years. So I would like to see the town retain the culture that it has, the Western heritage. I like to call it the spirit of Cave Creek. You can feel it in this room. It's palpable. I'm a problem solver. I work with folks from all different backgrounds. A few months back, I came to the business roundtable that you hosted, and it was such a great example and opportunity of what new good governance looks like, and hearing what local businesses had to say about appreciating the ear that the town has with the business so that they can work together, find solutions, and just make sure that our growth is done in the appropriate way. So again, thank you for the opportunity and look forward to hearing what you guys come up with.
Any clarifying questions? Thank you, Mr.
All
Secor.
right, thank you. Thanks.
Okay, at this point, we will have public comment.
I have no requests.
No comment? Okay. So the next step in our, first of all, does anyone on council have anything to say after having heard all the candidates? Okay. The next session is we're all going to fill out this little piece of paper and nominate 2 candidates. We will give them town clerk. The town clerk will read each individual council person's choices. And then we'll try to keep score, and the top candidate will be nominated we'll have the nomination and we'll make a motion to appoint them to the commission. That has to be seconded and then it has to receive 4 votes for it to be effective. So the only way to be on the commission is to get the 4 votes. So at this point, I'd ask council to fill out their forms. Yes. Oh, yes. If there is a tie, we will take the tied candidates in alphabetical order. We'll make a nomination for the first one in the alphabet, the second, the third, until we get 4 votes. So with that, if council will make their 2 nominations. Yeah,
Pass them
just
down.
pass it down to Jessica.
Councilmember Algerton, Kathleen Abe, and Alex Nattison. Councilmember Driscoll, Steve Lamar, Alex Nattison. Councilmember McGuire, Steve Lamar, Alex Nattison. Mayor Morris, Steve Lamar, Thomas Secor. Vice Mayor Royer, Steve Lamar, Alex Nattison. Councilmember Friedman, Steve Lamar, Alex Nattison. Councilmember Rhodes, Kathleen Abe, Alex Nattison. I have 6 votes for Alex Nattison and then 5 for Steve Lamar are the top 2 or nominations.
Okay, 6 for Nattison and 5 for Lamar. So we'll, I move that Alex Nattison be appointed to the Planning Commission.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. I move that Steve Lamar be appointed to the Planning Commission. Looking for a second on that?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we have 2 new commissioners. Alex Nattison, congratulations. Steve Lamar. Sorry?
Return.
Yes, returning. I'm sorry. Yes, Steve's returning for his long service since 1986. I didn't realize you and the Declaration of Independence both need a celebration in 26. Next on the agenda is the council discussion and possible approval of community grant committee recommendations for a total amount of $40,000 presented by the deputy town manager, town clerk, and vice mayor.
Let me turn that on. Good evening, Mayor and Council. So before you this evening is a request to approve the award recommendations for the community from the Community Grant Committee, totaling $40,000 for fiscal year 25. I will provide a little bit of a background before you get to that. So Town Council budgeted $40,000 for the grant program in the fiscal year 25 budget for the nonprofit organizations serving Cave Creek and the Desert Foothills community. At its December 18th, 2023 Town Council meeting, Town Council unanimously approved a new process, which we have been implementing. This is our 2nd time. This does cover our strategic plan, fiscal sustainability, and our goal to create, pursue, and maintain collaborative partnerships to maximize resources. So the committee is composed of 2 Cave Creek residents, 1 town core merchant, and 1 town of Cave Creek senior staff person, as well as a council member. This year's committee, the residents were Mary Pat McKenna and Michael Johnson. Lauren Van Winkle was the representative for our town core merchant. She's the co-owner of Local Johnny's Tavern. Myself as the town staff member, and then Vice Mayor Royer represented the town council.
Teresa, could I ask those people to all stand up?
I don't know. Oh, yeah, we do have.
They're not here.
They were invited, not, I know a couple couldn't make it, so.
Okay.
The recommendations currently forwarded to council were unanimously decided by the Community Grants Committee. So the recommendations coming before you for your approval start with the Cave Creek Unified Education Foundation for $5,000, Desert Foothills Land Trust for $5,000, Foothills Caring Corps, $5,000, the Foothills Food Bank for $5,000, Stone Arts League, $5,000. The Cave Creek Museum for $3,500, Desert Foothills Library Association for $3,000, Foothills Community Foundation at the Holland Center, $3,000, Cave Creek Dark Sky, $1,500, the Jubilant Conservatory of Music, $1,000, Curse Impressions, $1,000, Godspeed Project, $1,000, and the Upscale Singers for $1,000. Again, totaling $40,000. And with that, we are asking for your approval, but if you have any questions, please let me know.
Teresa, are the applications available on our website for people to read if they're curious about what these organizations do?
The applications that were submitted,
Yes.
they are not, but we can put something up.
Actually, as a follow-up news brief, we could have a paragraph about what each organization does. and
Absolutely.
serves. Very good.
And I do have two people wishing to speak on this after.
Okay, Councilor Driscoll.
Thank you, Mayor. Teresa, were there any groups that applied for funds who were not awarded amounts?
No, this time around, everyone was awarded an amount.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions?
I do have one last thing, and I hope you have it with you. I think it's important to recognize what the criteria were for awarding the grants, because there was a process and we had a table that we all measured each application by. So if you could identify what those criteria were, Teresa.
Let me see. I actually do not have that printed out, so we did, so
Maybe just verbally, some what's coming, remember.
We talk about the purpose of the organization, who it serves, how many people, what their
Correct.
budgets were, who the other funders are. So we know that the town is not the sole funder of each organization. So there were specific criteria and we measured them all.
yes.
Oh, and the last one was what other money the organizations got from the town, if any, or in-kind contributions from the town. So that was all taken into consideration
Correct.
when these grants were awarded.
And we did also ask for specific programs and how many people they would assist.
That-
Yeah, and so
That's right. So it's not just for a general purpose for the organization, but a
Mhm.
specific program. And it did not include funds for staff or administration. It was for a specific purpose for the organization.
Okay, there's public comment on this.
Carol Perry.
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council. I wanted to let you know how grateful we were for the grant that you gave us last year. I wanted to make sure that all of you had the directory that we printed for Hidden in the Hills. That was what the grant was for the printing cost of Hidden in the Hills. I also wanted to make sure you knew that on pages 2 and 3, we have, we have the letter from Mayor Morris, and we have a recognition that the town of Cave Creek was partially responsible for the funding behind the Hidden in the Hills. And when this was due on December 1st, I think it was, or 2nd, it was due minutes after Hidden in the Hills was over. So I didn't have specific data about this year's Hidden in the Hills. And I'm very excited to tell you that in the past, we've seen approximately $1 million in sales amongst all the open studios during Hidden in the Hills. And that translates to sales tax revenue for Cave Creek, Carefree, North Scottsdale, where the studios are located. This year, this morning at the meeting, we learned that we're coming in just under $1.5 million in sales during Hidden in the Hills. And understand, the mission of Hidden in the Hills isn't the sales, it's the education and the opportunity to share the appreciation of art and the process of art and the inspiration of art with our neighbors and our community people. So the fact that we also have such a successful event sales-wise speaks to just about everything positive about this. In last year, I think in the grant application, I recorded that I thought we had between 4,000 and 5,000 people attend based on extrapolating. Everybody clicks who comes into their studio. So I had to divide that big $48,000 number, 48,000 visitor number by the number of studios visited, et cetera. What we're looking at this year is close to 7,000 people, we think, that attended Hidden in the Hills. They don't just come here and visit the studios, they eat in our restaurants, they ask us where to go to eat. And it's just such a positive experience. We can't thank you enough for helping support it and for allowing us to say that the town of Cave Creek helps us support this. So I wanted to thank you for that and tell you that this year, 2025, is the 50th anniversary of the Sonora North League. So thank you for the recommendation from the committee, whatever happens next. I just wanted to thank you very much. And this is yours, Mayor Lawrence.
I do also want to note that we will be inviting everyone back to give a report, a brief report on what the grant funds were used for. So I'll be coordinating with those that received the awards.
It was certainly a dynamic explanation of it. I didn't realize all that, so thank you.
Joe Montecarlo.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members, I'm here representing the Upscale Singers. I'm on the board of directors. And we just wanted to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for the grant money that you've approved for us. And just wanted to give you a little bit of an explanation of, I'm sure it was in our grant request. I didn't do it. One of our other members did, but I'm sure that we put in there what we do for the community, which is mainly to support the youth in the community. And we support them through vocal scholarships that we give to junior high and senior high school students. We give grant money to the teachers in the community that for their music programs, whatever classroom needs they might need. If they need money for sheet music, if they need money for costuming for a show that they're going to put on, we accept their grant request and we provide money to those individuals. We also we have been supporting a special needs group. They were called the Magic of Music and Dance Camp, which was a week-long project for special needs students. And we provided tuition money for a number of the students that had the inability to provide the money themselves. We also support the summer camp of the Desert Foothills Theater. We have youth that go in the summer to get special training with their acting and their music program. So we support that. And we also accept special grants. For example, right now, we just approved $1,000 to the Phoenix Theater. They had asked us for money for a spring program that they're going to be putting on, and they needed money again for costuming for the kids that they're going to be putting on the show. So we give back. That's my whole point, is money that we raise through our concerts and the monies that you are going to give to us. We take those monies and we turn them right back to the community. And I just want to thank you again for giving us consideration. Thank you.
Thank you for your efforts in the community.
I might note, Teresa, that in our board, in our council packet, there are descriptions of each of the organizations. So anybody who's listening or in the room tonight can look up online what these organizations do and who they serve, and why we thought that they were all eligible to receive some amount of funding.
Okay, at this point, we're ready for a motion.
I'll make the motion. Council need a motion to approve Community Grant Committee recommendations for a total of $40,000.
Second. Okay, it's moved and seconded. Vice Mayor?
I'm very proud of this program. I am the one who brought it forward because I thought in the past it wasn't well-known. It wasn't visible enough to all the organizations in Cave Creek and the Desert Foothills, that we did have some money available to help support our nonprofits. So we created this program just last year that it includes a small committee. It includes applications. It includes one date to apply and one date to award the funds, not ad hoc like it had been done in the past. It includes criteria, and we all study our materials. There are hundreds and hundreds of pages. Kudos to Teresa for coordinating it all, and to our small committee, the task force, for doing the work that's required to appraise all of these applications. So thank you to this council for supporting this project. This program. It obviously serves a lot of people in our community, and I think it's a very wise use of our resources.
I think I have the second. Yeah, thank you, Councilperson Royer. This did really take a process and make it more efficient, more transparent. And whatever we're giving to the organizations, I want to make it very clear that they give back to the community in multiples.
Other comments from council?
Mayor.
Yes.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a comment that I know $40,000 split 13 ways doesn't seem like a great amount of money, but we live in a generous community. And I think the action by the town encourages the residents to continue to support all the nonprofits and to vote with their dollars on who they feel is most valuable to the community and continue that support. So hopefully we can keep this program growing a bit and showing a lead to support the nonprofits that are so valuable to us.
I want to add on to that, it was specific in these grants that it be for particular programs. That's the way we do it, but you as community members can help with the day-to-day operations, because all of these organizations have specific projects that they do, but they also have overall overhead costs that include the cost of their staff, and those are considerable. And the individual donations can be helpful in that regard.
Okay, seeing no further comments. Mine is, I'd like to compliment the Community Grant Committee. I think they've done a marvelous job again, and Vice Mayor, making this systematic is music to an engineer's heart. All this organization and criteria, I love it. And also want to compliment the volunteers who really are the glue that hold a lot of our community together. The north end of the valley runs on volunteers. So I'd say that the people in the room, we have town employees, but everybody else is a volunteer. And volunteerism is really alive in our town. It's just wonderful to behold. From the inside, I hope it looks that way from the outside. I'm sure it does. But I'd like to thank all the volunteers and the organizations that serve the community. You've done a wonderful job. Carol, I'd had no idea you had that many people, and you're paying sales taxes too. That's music to my ears also. So with that, this is a financial, so we'll have to have a roll call vote on this.
Councilmember Friedman,
Yes.
Councilmember McGuire,
Yes.
Councilmember Rhodes,
Aye.
Councilmember Augerton,
Aye.
Councilmember Driscoll,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Royer,
Yes.
Mayor Morris.
Aye. Motion passes 7-0. And
Thank you, everybody.
thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you for coming. Thank you.
Next on the agenda is the council consideration approval of resolution number R 2025-01 of the town of Cave Creek, Maricopa County, Arizona, for purposes of computing workers' compensation insurance premium and compensation benefits for volunteers. Now that ought to clear the room out.
Yeah. And you're free to go. Who doesn't love work comp? I might, I probably do, yeah. Sure, and you can have as many of these as you need. You're better, yeah. Okay. Just.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thanks for applying.
Come back.
I was only kidding.
They listened.
Dave, what will we do without you, David?
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council. So we have for you tonight a resolution to approve for workers' compensation benefits for volunteers. The resolution that was previously done was back in 2005, so it was 20 years ago that one was done. I don't know if over the years, maybe with turnover over that time, if there was not an awareness of the resolution that was previously done, but the way it was written and what is actually being done kind of don't really jive. So we wanted to get this to be more in line with what the current practice is, but also to look at it from a fresh set of eyes of how do we want to handle this. So one of the things that our trusty town attorney had brought up was that having the volunteers on the workers' compensation does create some limitation on what the benefits would be, as opposed to just using our general liability insurance, which would be much broader and much more open on that. So it helps contain our exposure. The state statutes provide some guidance on how to identify what the salary equivalents are that should be used for calculating the benefits. We were not following that in our resolution, but in practice we were for law enforcement volunteers. And then we've added some additional volunteers that were not on there. Council was already on there. Planning Commission was not included in the past. And the Board of Adjustment Utility Advisory Committee is new, and the PSPRS local board members. The Tourism Bureau volunteers also we felt should be included in that. So I did notice that I had intended an attachment for the current resolution, but I don't think it got in the packet. So if you have any questions about that, but we're asking for approval of the new ordinance that will replace that one.
I just had one question. What's the total cost based on this formula?
It is pretty small. I don't remember off the top of my head what that was, but I would say it was around $2,000 or so.
Total?
Yeah, for the year.
Excuse me, Mayor, if I may. I just want to point out, as our town attorney shared with us, that the general liability insurance for somebody having an injury while maybe tripping, coming off of a dais, or having a serious injury, really puts us at a higher exposure for liability costs, not only to the settling the claim, but also for our future premiums. So I think this was a very prudent way to approach that, kind of putting it in a separate bucket versus general liability and addressing it that way. And I think modernizing it, including volunteers we previously did not have. We have a number of people that, for instance, the volunteers that work at the tourism office go out and about and do a lot of things like that, assisting visitors and such. And so I just think that there's really a potential for injuries while they're on volunteering for us. So I just think it was really wise, and I think this is really a good approach to take.
Question?
Thank you, Mayor. Just one clarification, in the discussion, it's listed that the number of volunteers authorized in the resolution is 50. It allows, and that's in the middle of page 32, but in the resolution itself, the number is 60. So I just wanted to clarify which one it is.
60.
60.
Yes.
Other questions? My question is, how'd you come up with $400 per week?
That's in the state statute.
Oh, per month, excuse me, per month. Yeah. per
Yes,
month.
for the salary equivalent. Yes.
Okay. Very good. We have public comment on this.
I have no one wishing to speak.
I'm surprised. Okay, so at this point then, we are looking for a motion. I will make it.
I'll make it.
If you're there, go ahead, Dustin.
Motion to approve resolution number R 2025-01.
Second,
Makes sense to separate this out. General liability insurance is kind of like a personal umbrella policy. If you ever have to use it, you'll never be able to afford it again. So I think this is kind of a smart thing to do.
I agree, it is a smart thing to do. Others? Seeing none, this is financial, I presume. I guess we'll take a roll call anyway, just in case it is. $2,000, I guess it is.
Councilmember McGuire,
Yes.
Councilmember Rhodes,
Aye.
Councilmember Algerton,
Aye.
Councilmember Driscoll,
Yes.
Councilmember Freeman,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Royer,
Yes.
Mayor Morris.
Aye. Motion passes 7-0. We are on to number 4, which is council discussion approval of resolution number R 2025-02 of the town of Cave Creek, Maricopa County, Arizona, authorizing the mayor to execute an intergovernmental agreement between the town of Cave Creek and the state of Arizona for the town's participation in the cybersecurity grant program, presented by the Administrative Services Director and IT Coordinator. Flip a coin.
We're going to let the IT coordinator present.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. We've brought this one to you before a couple of times where the federal government and the Arizona Department of Homeland Security are working together to help provide several pieces of software and professional services to us to help protect our data and our network. You guys have approved this one before, and I think it's a great program. I'd be glad to take any questions.
Questions? It is a great program. Then, were there 6 tools they give us, something like that?
It's growing at this point, and they expect to continue to expand it. They've been asking the cities and towns to provide feedback on what tools would be most useful to add to the program.
Yeah, we're so small. We're hanging out there with a lot of jeopardy, but we don't have a lot of money. We're too small for the notice, but. Other questions? Comments? Okay, I guess we're ready for a motion on this. I'll be happy to make it. Motion to approve resolution number R 2025-02.
Second.
There's no cost to this, so all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have a departmental staff report tonight. That's the presentation of the quarterly town marshal report.
Hey, Mayor, Council. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to speak to you tonight. Happy New Year, by the way. The quarter report from the Marshal's Office, District Marshal's Office, made up myself, Marshal Adam Stein, Sergeant Alan Goodman as a volunteer, Captain David Letourneau is the District 4 Commander, and Lieutenant Chewy Gutierrez is the oh, sorry. I have a big mouth anyway. I'm sure everyone heard me. They make up the leadership team for your law enforcement. High visibility traffic enforcement has been a priority for this council. As such, 82 traffic violations were noted for this quarter. The most common violation is speed enforcement. We have had an uptick in shoplifting offenses. Oddly enough, Walmart has had 35 reports this quarter for shoplifting. Previously, as we've seen throughout the nation, a lot of shoplifting has gone unpursued. A lot of times people go into a retail establishment, load up their shopping carts with goods, push it out the door and leave. Walmart is saying, nope, not going to happen in Cave Creek. And we're very grateful for that because we don't want these nitwits coming to our town and breaking our laws. So we're happy that they're pursuing those people. We had 31 motor vehicle accidents this quarter. 8 of those motor vehicle accidents did result in injuries. Excuse me. Public safety is the #1 priority for our town. Help support a safe and a vibrant community. We're trying to reduce the number of pedestrian accidents, reduce motor vehicle collisions. People are asking, they ask me anyway, why? Why are we focusing on so much traffic enforcement? And again, it comes down to public safety. If we can go out, we can enforce the vehicle and traffic laws of the state of Arizona and the town of Cave Creek. We can try and control some of that aggressive driving, control some of that speeding, and hopefully decrease the number of collisions that we're seeing in our town. To that effect, the Cave Creek Marshal's Office, as well as the Sheriff's Office, has been deploying speed calming devices such as our speed awareness trailers. Obviously, the town has 3 fixed asset radar devices, and then we have a fleet of mobile trailers that we put out in communities as the mayor and council members call and say, hey, we're getting complaints. We've deployed those assets approximately 30 times this quarter. The purpose, again, for deploying those assets is to bring awareness to people's driving habits. A lot of times people are listening to music. They're talking hopefully on their Bluetooth devices, not paying attention. They see their speed on the radar trailer. They see flashing blue and red lights and think, hey, maybe we should slow down a little bit. So it's a tool we use, and it's been very helpful. I review all the traffic data that comes from them. It tells us the date of the violations, the time, the average speeds, maximum speeds, minimum speeds. So it's just a really good planning tool. Then we help deploy resources based on what we get from those devices as far as the peak times of speeding and whatnot. They've actually been quite interesting. I mean, we've seen some speeds on these devices at 99 miles per hour, which is not something we typically see when we're running traffic enforcement for some reason. Hopefully those unmarked vehicles we talked about earlier will help with that. As far as town code violations, we had 30 citations issued for violations of the town code this quarter, and we had 52 code compliance complaints generated this quarter, a little higher than average. Calls for service this quarter. You know, everyone always asks, you know, how busy is the sheriff's office up here? They responded to 103 calls for service this quarter. Those calls for service, everything from barking dogs to burglar alarms to, unfortunately, we have domestic violence, those types of things. People ask, is there crime in Cave Creek? The answer is very little for a town our size. Unfortunately, we did have 2 homicides this year in our town. One of those homicides was committed, in my opinion, elsewhere and dumped in our town. One of those homicides, it is my opinion, that is going to be what's known as a justified homicide. We had 5 assaults in our town. You know, if you think about 5 assaults, you think, wow, I wouldn't think anyone gets assaulted in Cave Creek. But if you think about how many bars we have, how many alcohol establishments, how many rodeos, 5 is a really low number, which is pretty good. We had 18 calls of service regarding trespassing. Of those 18 calls, 8 of them actually went into a report mode. So people can call and say, hey, we have a trespasser. They just want them removed. Deputies will show up, they'll remove the person from the premise, but they don't want to press charges. They don't want to go any further. So again, wouldn't generate a report. Only 8 of those 18 generated reports. We did have 50 false alarms this quarter. On the national average, 99% of burglar alarms are false. Faulty equipment. You wake up in the middle of the night, you forget your alarm's on, you let FIDO out and you set off your alarm. So we always recommend people check their alarm systems, make sure they don't have any faulty devices. What I should have given you and I didn't is a lot of those false alarms are the same residences. I've personally been to the same residence in our town 6 times last year for a false alarm. Just fix your devices. It's easy. It's a waste of our time. 13 reports were for theft, which were separate from shoplifting. You leave your garage door open, someone comes in, takes your golf club, something like that is typical. Again, those were not shoplifting related. 2 reports of domestic violence during this quarter. And again, the bottom line is Cave Creek is quite safe and a vibrant community. So in summary, Cave Creek is a safe community. We strive to provide quality law enforcement and services to meet our community's needs. I thought it was important that I point out the Cave Creek traffic cars. A lot of times when people are driving through town, those of you that are unfortunate and don't follow the rules get pulled over by our traffic cars, most likely. The Cave Creek traffic cars are staffed by Deputy Perez and a Deputy Bradbury, and then Sergeant Alan Goodman from our office. Those officers are out trying to keep us as safe as possible by, again, enforcing the vehicle and traffic laws that we have and just trying to educate people. And I think they do a very good job. I did want to congratulate Deputy Rich Brickland. He retired last month out of District 4. He had 34.97 years with the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office. I encouraged him to go for the 35th year, but it just didn't work out. So 34.97. He said, I can't say 34. He said, I can't say 35. So that was very impressive. And then what I didn't have at the time I prepared this report, which I find interesting, last year we had approximately 298 citations, 2023, pardon me, 298 citations in the town of Cave Creek. 2024, we closed out 1,547 citations in the town of Cave Creek. 1,547.
That sounds
So-
like material for the prospector.
Well, I feel like we were able to motivate. We were able to motivate the sheriff's office to start working aggressively with traffic enforcement. I appreciate your time. And again, I hope you all have a happy new year. Any questions, I'm happy to answer.
So Adam, for clarification, because it was kind of joked around earlier, are all the traffic vehicles that give tickets, are they marked or unmarked?
We have a mixture of both.
You have-
We have, the sheriff's office deploys 2 what's known as ghost vehicles. They are Maricopa County Sheriff's Office vehicles. One's a Tahoe, one's I guess a Ford F-150, but don't quote me. And they have what's known as subdued writing on the side, so very hard to see. We have a unusual unmarked vehicle as well that the sheriff's office traffic unit uses. We have motorcycles that come up on occasion. My office, we have unmarked, it's a gray Chevy Tahoe for those in the audience, and we have a white Ford Explorer.
They're all
as
gone
well.
out of your safe.
I thought they would have saved from my report. I think Sherry scared them away. We find the unmarked vehicles are just very helpful. A lot of times we're getting complaints of aggressive driving in town, road rage, that type of thing. By having the unmarked vehicles, we're flowing with traffic and we're observing what's going on. So A, people are more apt to pass us, not realizing who we are. And B, we observe a lot of strange driving habits that we're able to address that way. I'll be the first one to tell you when I'm driving on the highway, if there's a Department of Public Safety officer next to me, I might be paying a little more attention to what I'm doing. I don't want people to pay attention just because you see a police car. I want you to be on your best behavior all the time.
You might want to pay a little bit of attention to the 4-way stop. Over the last month, coming off of Schoolhouse, going on to Cave Creek Road, I've almost been clobbered twice by people who didn't stop.
Mhm.
I mean, they just fly down Cave Creek Road.
California tourists.
They have Arizona plates.
Darn it. It must have been a rental car.
He's
But my point is, I think, just
Point noted, sir.
put an unmarked guy there and just see what happens over the course of a day. It's pretty amazing.
I enjoy my job.
Have we had any pedestrian vehicle accidents recently?
No, thank God. But we did have a strange one. We had we had like a 50-year-old guy on a bicycle at night who decided to pull a wheelie in the middle of Cave Creek Road and fell and hit his noggin. Wasn't hit by anybody, like it was his own doing. And that got reported as initially they thought he was struck, but they spoke to eyewitnesses. There were some females in the crowd and yeah, he fell on his own accord. So no, we've been very blessed. thank
I
God.
got a text about that at 1 o'clock in the morning.
As did I. As did I. Yeah, there's some real strange things that happen in our town and we'll leave it at that.
Do we have a white Mustang now that's unmarked?
I'm not at liberty to discuss that.
Okay, it's fine.
Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
just one other question on the trespassing complaints that were called in. Was any of that related to homeless or vagrants trying to occupy properties or camping?
The truth is, I didn't isolate it that way.
Okay.
I could tell you from my experience with the homeless people, we have had a brief uptick in homeless encounters last year. I don't think any of them really, no, that's not true. We had one fella, the guy who had like the Alaskan boots on it. Did you see him? He was very popular. He was trespassed, I remember, from 3 locations in our town that I recall off the top of my head. But other than that, that's for the homeless people. Most of them just come, find a place that they can be out of sight, out of mind, and just kind of dig in there for a little while until I find them or someone reports them. We are doing the annual point in time homeless count coming up the end of this month. Last year we had 1.
Other questions?
Thank you for your
Seeing
time.
none, I just anecdotally, is the average speed in town dropped since we've put all this emphasis?
It has. It has.
on
I'll tell you a funny story. I stopped for breakfast. I'm not going to say where. And I was sitting with my daughter. We're having breakfast. And this lady was complaining about the stupid cop who sits on the side of the road with a Chevy Tahoe. And Ella looks over and she says, Dad, I think she's talking about you. She said, yeah, he's always in the same location. I'm in the same location because I'm not catching people always speeding there. And when people stop speeding when I'm on that location, I'll move to a different one.
You don't see as much speeding as you used to. You still see some, and you see the.
We
car
see
that-
some humdingers.
You see the car that comes through and it's going 50.
Yeah.
But there are a lot more cars going 30, between 30 and 35, rather than 40 and 45 is my anecdotal.
I definitely
observation.
think the saturation we've been doing, the high visibility enforcement within town core is certainly helping. And we do, in reference to Councilman Friedman, we do rotate some of the unmarked vehicles that are in town. The next one that's come to town is going to blow our socks off. We did that. It is a very unique vehicle that in a million years you wouldn't think was a cop. It'll be fun for you. I know what it looks like. I'm safe.
Yeah.
Other questions? Okay, well, thank you very much. Keep up the good work.
One question.
Oops.
So real quick, a lot of my neighbors on Highland have been complaining to me that we need to get some more enforcement on Highland from time to time. Just to slow people down. There's a guy who lives at the very end of the street that likes to fishtail in the dirt and then see how fast he can go down Highland.
I spoke to TC about that. Oh, that's why my filter
Thank
wasn't
you.
on.
No.
We have requested increased enforcement from the sheriff's office. Highland's a tough road just because I have a lot of trouble putting the speed awareness trailers out there because finding a location and then I find a perfect location. I spend, half an hour setting it up and I get an angry phone call from the resident saying, hey, I don't want so close to my house and I don't want to call him Grady, so I always move it. But it's really hard on that road to put a speed awareness trailer. But I think with the new we're going to see a lot more of the motorcycle cops up here. It's a little bit easier for them to blend in on the side of the road up there than it is for us. So you'll see some action. Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. That completes our agenda for tonight. Anything else? If not, the meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.